I'm going to hold on to this because there's so much here I want to refer to, because it is like I'm reading the news today. Nations will rise against nations, and earthquakes, and there will be wars and rumors of wars, and people will turn against each other, and the church will be persecuted. All of this is happening. It's happening now, but Jesus says, do not be terrified, do not be afraid, do not worry, do not lose sleep over it, but remain faithful. Remain faithful, because here's the thing, just because you loved Jesus years ago, just because you had a focus on Jesus, doesn't mean you will always love Jesus. And this is why I'm reprimanding you, I'm telling you, I'm encouraging you to make sure, now more than ever, that your hearts are focused on Jesus, that you are not distracted. You see, because being in a church and doing and even praying and even having gestures towards Jesus does not mean that you love him and that you really serve him. Let me give you this analogy. You see, there's this bride and this groom, and the bride and groom are very excited to celebrate this wedding, and the bride is all dressed up, and she's ready to go and meet her groom. The groom also standing at the front of the church, and the lights are dim, and all of a sudden the bride walks in. And as she's walking in, the light, boom, is shone on the bride. And when everyone is amazed, because everyone takes a deep breath, because she's beautiful, but what they didn't realize, because she was in the dark, that her dress was all stained and dirty. But the groom nonetheless focuses on the bride and still continues to love the bride and continues to look towards the bride walking towards her. But as she is walking towards her, she starts to get a bit distracted. She sees some handsome men in the pews, and as she's walking up the pews, she stops and she starts to flirt with these people. And she starts to have conversations with other people, to a point where she has one conversation and she stays there for 3 minutes, 5 minutes. The groom still patiently waiting. She continues walking up and continues to flirt with other people on the sides as she's walking up to meet her groom. Now, ridiculous, right? But this is what we do with Christ. Christ, who is the groom, the bride, that is the church, you and I. That Jesus waits for us. We're enthusiastic, we're dressed up, and we're messed up as well. We're dirty because we sin. But God still loves us and still welcomes us. But the thing is, we walk towards God, but we get distracted by things of this world, by lust, by things, by objects and phones and riches of this world. And God still continues, the groom still continues to wait for us. And if you think about it that way, it is a little bit ridiculous, because the groom waits for us and he longs for us. And yet we're so distracted, yet we're so much focused on the things that we think we need, when actually all we need is Jesus. I really want to encourage you, stay faithful. Look at Jesus. Keep your eyes on Jesus, the groom. All that matters is the groom. All that matters is Jesus. Things may fall. Wars might be around us. People might be calling us, and the people who are taking our attention, things that are taking our attention, but keep your eyes on Jesus. Because once your eyes are on Jesus, then you're going to be able to walk up the aisle. God loves you, and God calls you to be his bride, his own, the church whom he loves so unconditionally. Don't worry that your dress is stained. He loves you, and he's going to purify you, and he's going to make your dress as white as snow. But keep your eyes on the groom and keep walking towards him and him alone.